let's do it.
YugiNoNo.
King prepare.
Alright guys, the deck starts off with 3 copies of Cyber Dragon, of course. This is one of your main beaters of the deck, of course, and you can special summon it from your hand and make like mad rank 5 plays with them. And you can also summon Cyber Dragon from the deck, of course, using Cyber Dragon Core by banishing it from the graveyard when your opponent controls a monster and you don't. Core is definitely the best monster in the deck. I wish its attack was higher. I cannot say this enough. On top of being able to summon any Cyber Dragon monster from your deck, it's a search card for your search card. It can even summon another copy of itself from the deck, which actually really helps with machine duplication. Then you play 3 of the Dr. Dry. This card, of course, makes all Cyber Dragons you control level 5, which of course makes him a key combo piece in a lot of your rank 5 plays. And for the last Cyber Dragon monster, I play 1 Zwei. It's just good to have in your graveyard to keep, Cyber Repair Plant alive. And of course, he's another Cyber Dragon for Power Bond. And to help with your rank 5 combos, I play 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier. Galaxy Soldier pitches a light monster from your hand to the graveyard and special summons itself from your hand. And then when it's summoned, it gets another copy of itself from your deck to your hand. And I'm actually teching in 1 copy of Electromagnetic Turtle. This, of course, is a light machine, so it's searchable with Cyber Repair Plants, and you can pitch it from your hand with Galaxy Soldier, or you could pitch it from your deck using Rampage Dragon. And then we're playing 1 copy of my personal favorite card in the deck, Cyber Eltonit. I actually like to call him Gurren Lagann, but this card can not only help you win games, but it gets you out of so many tight spots. Like now with Monarchs running around and Domain Lock just completely making this deck brick, having Eltonit, which is a searchable out to Domain Lock, is just fantastic. And it's actually pretty good against Cosmos too, because it sends, doesn't destroy, so the Cosmos ships won't be able to replace themselves. And for the last 3 monsters, I am maining 3 Max C. There are a couple of reasons for this. One, we only have 1 Upstart now, and I just decided to cut Upstart completely from the deck. If you think about it, going against Burning Abyss, this card will make you go super plus. It's pretty decent against Monarchs because of the Prime Trap card and of course Adia and Aether. And then of course you can chain this to the Cosmopilot effects to get a draw when they go to summon a monster from the hand. So that is all 18 monsters. And on to the spells. Of course you're maining 3 copies of Power Bond. This is your main win condition in the deck. Yeah, the rank 5 plays are good, Infinity's good, but Rampage being able to pop your opponent's back row and swing 3 times with 4200 attack is just insane. And then I'm playing 3 copies of your search card, Cyber Repair Plant. This card can not only search a Cyber Dragon monster, it can also shuffle Cyber Dragon monsters from your graveyard back into your deck, and it searches for Galaxy Soldier and the Turtle. So this card, of course, is just insanely good. And then I'm playing 3 copies of Fusion Conscription. I actually cut this card from the deck for a really long time, but Matthew Heinen, he's the guy that's been topping Lenexa. He topped a Tulsa with Cyber Dragons. After talking with him, talking Cyber Dragons with him, he talked me in, he kind of convinced me to start maining this again, and I'm really glad because this card is actually phenomenal. I forgot how good this card was. Being able to search a Cyber Dragon monster for Power Bond from your deck, or being able to search a Cyber Dragon monster from your grave to your hand is just great. And then I'm playing 2 copies of Machine Duplication. This card is amazing. Summon Core, go +1, search your search card, and then activate Machine Duplication to get 2 Cyber Dragons from your deck to the field. And then make Nova or Infinity or Pleiades or whatever you want. This card is just incredible. And another card to help with the rank 5 plays, of course, is Instant Fusion. And then I'm playing 2 copies of Twin Twisters. You do have some discard outlets in the deck, and back row is this deck's worst enemy. I mean, Rampage is a really good card. It does pop back row, but being able to snipe out your opponent's set warning or set strike is just incredibly good. And then I dumbed this down to 1 copy of Overload Fusion because it just kept clogging for me. This card is really, really good though. You can send monsters with Rampage Dragon and then banish those monsters with this card that you just sent and get out another Rampage Dragon. But this card actually kept clogging for me, so I'm just gonna keep it at 1 for now. And then I play 1 copy of Foolish Burial for Cyber Dragon Core, or even to put a Cyber Dragon into your graveyard for Nova to have a better target. It's just really good. It's really techy to have. And then of course I'm playing the 1 copy of Limiter Removal because, I mean, all machines double their attack. Like, this card is incredible. And for the last spell card, I'm playing 1 Day of Peace. I mean, it's a draw card. It can save your ass, and it takes the burn away from Power Bond, so this card's just kind of, it's decent in the deck. So that is all the spells, and the only traps I'm playing are 3 copies of Reckless Greed. It's really just to get to Power Bond faster. That's the only reason why you play this card, and it's chainable. Twin Twisters is running around like crazy, and having this card set, and if your opponent Twin Twisters it, you're just fine with it, especially if you have 2 of them set because you just draw 4. So this card, I cannot will myself to cut Reckless Greed from this deck. I mean, there's been too many times where I've like drawn into the Cyber Dragon I've needed or drawn into the Power Bond I've needed and won games. To the extra deck, I am playing, of course, 3 copies of Rampage Dragon. This card is incredibly good. This card single-handedly brought Cyber Dragons back to life, and it's like a level 5 on top of it that you can make Infinity with. Like, this card is just incredibly good. Like I said earlier, you Power Bond for this guy, it gets up to 4,200 attack, pops your opponent's back row, and then it swings 3 times with 4,200. That's ridiculous. And it does that by filling your grave with Cyber Dragon monsters, or you could pitch the turtle. This card is great. And then I play 2 copies of Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, of course, for Cosmos. It just outs the Cosmos ships. This card is just really, really good against Cosmos. This is the card that single-handedly gives you a good Cosmo matchup. And then for the instant fusion targets, I'm playing 1 Panzer Dragon. This card is actually a really great instant fusion target because you can always let it die and pop a card, but I honestly like this one better. This is Parapsychroid, and the reason why I've always played Parapsychroid and pushed Parapsychroid to Cyber Dragon players is that this card serves 2 purposes. Of course, it's your other instant fusion target, and you can power bond into this thing and swing directly with 3,200 attack. All it requires is 2 machines with the same name. So you can use Galaxy Soldier or anything. And the other thing I came up with a long time ago that I still play is Barbaroid. Barbaroid, I was actually talking to Matt about this. Barbaroid is the best target for when Cyber Dragon Nova gets solemned or when it just dies, period. Because this is 4,000 attack, 4,000 def, it burns your opponent for every monster that it destroys, it can attack twice, and it negates their effects in the graveyard. This card is just a beast. And it's also the last fusion that I play in the deck. And to the Xyz monsters, of course, you play 2 Nova. This card's like your main Xyz monster that you get out and combo with. And of course, like I was just talking about, when it gets destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you get to special summon a fusion monster from your extra deck to the field. And I need to get a second German Infinity, but 2 Cyber Dragon Infinity. This card can easily be a win condition at certain points in the game and negates anything, once per turn. It's like an honor arc. It takes your opponent's attack position monster. This card is just incredibly broken. And then I play 1 Pleiades, 1 Zenmaio. I always liked this card. I'm kind of meh about it a lot of the time, but it baits out back row and stuff, so it's not too bad, and it's 2,600 attack. And then for the last card in the extra, of course, the burn card, Volcasaurus. Being able to, a Ring of Destruction your opponent is just always great. And to the side deck, of course, I'm playing 3 copies of Mask of Restrict because of Monarchs, and this card stops them from being able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Unless, of course, they have Trap Eater or Twin Twisters or something. But if they don't have the out to this card, then they really can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's great. And since Burning Abyss is this deck's worst matchup by far, this deck's worst matchup, I'm playing 3 copies of Shadow Imprisoning Mirror because this card shuts them down. I'm playing 2 copies of Ojama Trio because, this also shuts them down, and when you kill the tokens, it burns them for damage. So this card's always been really good, like a really good tech against Burning Abyss. And then one thing I'm doing that's kind of clever is I'm playing 3 Flying Sea, just because, it's the same theory behind Ojama Trio, like the Burning Abyss monsters die if there's a non-Burning Abyss monster on the field. But with Flying Sea, you can make Pleiades and keep bouncing the Flying Sea back to your hand and keep activating it. So that is like the only reason why I'm playing Flying Sea, because that move is just brutal. And then I'm actually siding a second copy of Eltonin because I didn't want to play a 3rd copy of Twin Twisters because I didn't want to discard too much. I thought about MST. I still might side MST, so that's a note you can take from this. But this is a searchable out to domain lock, and that's why I play it. That's why I love this card. I just feel way safer game 2 against Monarchs having 2 copies of this card in the deck because, of course, they're going to want to go first. They're going to want to lock you out, and of course, they're going to want to go first because they don't want you flipping a Mask of Restrict up. So having this card going second against Monarchs is just great. And moving on to the last 3 cards on the side, Swift Scarecrows. This is just like for Mermails. I think Mermails are going to be, really popular. And of course, they can OTK you. They have a 2-card OTK. It's ridiculous. And of course, if you come across like another OTK deck, or even if you play the mirror match for, if you just happen to play the Cyber Dragon mirror match, having this card is incredible in that as well. But this is mainly for Mermails, and having this is just really good. All right, guys, that is it for this deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to know you guys' thoughts and suggestions down in the comment section, along with all of your guys' tech cards if you are Cyber Dragon players. But as always, if you like this video, then dick slap that like button and subscribe.
Subscribe!